You fucking brokey.
Fuck you,
Yeah,
nigga.
fuck you.
Fine, I'm not
You
a broke.
fucking fat.
You're
You look like
Thank
your hair's
you.
a wig. Your stomach
My
is
hair's a
jiggling.
wig.
You look like you're literally your underwear is showing and your stomach is hanging.
Look at this
Disgusting.
man, Look at this
Disgusting.
Man. When y'all come to
Disgusting.
this podcast, just know that these people right here are going to make y'all feel like y'all ain't shit. I'm gonna try to demean y'all to take your energy.
You're wearing a wig.
Take their mother. I'm
You're wearing a wig,
braids.
bitch.
He's dumb as
wearing
I have braids in my hair, and this ignorant nigga who looks black and wants to be a nigga till it's time to be one doesn't even know what braids are.
Yo, she just said this ignorant ninja who wants to be black until it's time to be black doesn't even know what braids are. Bro, let me tell you something. If that had come from the right mouth, it would have been career ending.
I never said I was.
What do you gain from telling girls that they're not special? How does that make you feel? I mean, I know everything is a joke, but I'm asking you a real question. So how does it make you feel? Because if I say you're a bitch ass nigga, that does something for me, right? If I insult you, or if I tell you you're not special, you're forgettable, what does that do for me? No, but that doesn't. But that's what I'm saying. No, but I'm saying, what if I call you? If I just say that again, you're forgettable. That's why I didn't want to do you guys' podcast. Forgettable. Hate the setup. The name is underwhelming. I didn't really see the value in it.
Tell us the truth. What's good? What's good? It's your man, Book of AlphaRonomy, aka Doc BOA. Listen, Fresh and Fit podcast had a meteoric rise, one of the most meteoric rises we've seen on this particular platform. They started off kind of small and connected with the right people at the right time. A couple of other juggernauts, namely Kevin Samuels, Andrew Tate, and they ended up just blasting off, man. And they had a very, very sought after podcast for quite some time. They were able to pretty much get whatever guest they wanted. And it was great to see it because we all know as content creators, we all know the struggle of, being able to do this full time. And then suddenly out of nowhere, everything went left. And for a while, it was impossible to point out what it was. It just seemed like some guys had got to the money and things started to go left and they started to get the big head and all of that. But I noticed that Fresh was just doing the normal things that guys do when they get money, when they never had money before. He was getting caught up with pretty girls who didn't have any substance, possibly having babies with these girls, the things guys do when they, for the first time, reap the benefits, the relationship benefits of having money. But Myron was a different story. Myron was doing other things. He was going left. And it was interesting to watch, for some people. And no one really never said anything because it was just a more intense version of what he was already doing. But the moment he put the clan hood on, he lost his entire connection with his fan base. And he didn't know it. Move forward to now. And the guy is still crashing out of control. To the point that Fresh has started to show up in podcasts alone and represent his own ideology and what he wants for himself and the brand that he helped create. In this video, man, we're going to watch Myron go absolutely apeshit over something that had to be simple from this small black woman who didn't seem to be in the same disrespectful, aggressive energy he was in. And this just goes to show when a man loses sight of the reality of his life, he doesn't even understand he's spiraling out of control. But let's watch this clip, man, and we'll come back and chop it up on the real tip.
You're not even black. What the fuck are you gonna do? You gonna put your hands on me on your camera?
I'm not about you, but you're ugly.
Thank
You look like shit.
Thank you. Your mom does too. And everything you're saying to me will bounce off of me and stick right back to you.
I think there was a point when he stood up. You heard her say, "So you're gonna put your hands on me on camera?" I think he stood up with the type of aggression that made her believe he was going to put hands on her. And here's the problem with that. Even if he wasn't, when you stand up and you act this aggressively toward a woman, it looks like you're about to inflict some violence on her. That's just what it looks like. Like no man should be pushed at this point with a woman that he doesn't know in his own space when all he has to do is have her removed. All of this back and forth isn't necessary, but let's keep going.
And that bitch that you fucking on. Thank you. You just transferred your energy and gave me all your money, nigga. I declare and I decree that. This show is gonna be in the fucking bitch. Just like you and your bitch.
Do it. Get the fuck out of here. This Florida. You stupid.
Melissa.
Get the fuck out of here, bitch.
I'm gonna get your bitch.
This is Florida.
You niggas aren't gonna
Melissa. This is Florida. 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 Stand your ground. This is Florida. You ain't getting reimbursed. Shit, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Now I want you to understand, man, like, man, this is bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy can't get out of his own way. He continues to do these crazy things and have these moments where it's obvious to everyone that he's in full crash out mode. Now he's talking to this woman, man, calling her everything and telling her we're not going to compensate you for the Uber. Man, this is just bad business. So you get in your feelings to where you can't do the proper business. All you're doing is compensating the girl for coming on an Uber. Now, I want you to think about this. Think about how many times you've had to compensate the talent who showed up. Think about that. When you think about these things, man, this is why a lot of guys just stayed away from it altogether. Now, one guy who was on it, we're going to watch him in the comments when we're done watching this clip, trying to go in on Myron. But here's the problem. Mike Rashid, you can't go in on the guy when you were sitting there partaking in it. This is the same energy he had when you were on the show. He's always had this energy, doing what they call the Frank Castle, putting the girls out. He's had another situation with a girl. He's had a situation with guys. So don't come and try to put your foot on his neck now. You took part in it. You partook in it on multiple occasions, might I add.
You fucking brokey?
Fuck you,
Yeah,
nigga.
you.
Fine, I'm not
You're
a broke.
fucking fat.
Your
You
man
look like
Thank
your hair's
you.
a wig. Your stomach
My
is
hair's a
jiggling.
wig.
You look like you're literally, your underwear is showing and your stomach is hanging.
Look at this
Disgusting.
Man, look at this
Disgusting.
Man. When y'all come to
Disgusting.
this podcast, just know that these people right here are going to make y'all feel like y'all ain't shit. I'm gonna try to demean y'all to take your energy.
You're wearing a wig.
Take their mother.
You're
I'm
wearing a wig,
braids.
bitch.
He's dumb as
wearing
I have braids in my hair, and this ignorant nigga who looks black and wants to be a nigga till it's time to be one doesn't even know what braids are.
Yo, she just said this ignorant ninja who wants to be black until it's time to be black doesn't even know what braids are. Bro, let me tell you something. If that had come from the right mouth, it would have been career ending. You know what I'm saying? I mean, more career ending than anything he's done before. This would have been the final nail in the coffin. When a black woman or a black man in America can look at you and say this honestly, and it sticks to you because it's the truth, that you act like you want to be a black man until it's time to be a black man. Boy, that says a lot. That's a scathing, not even insult. It's a scathing truth. Because this is the same guy, remember, who wore a Klan hood on his head. So think about it. I want y'all to comment down below and tell me how many of you would have put a Klan hood on your head at any point for any time. I don't care if it was trick or treat. I don't care if it was make believe. I don't care if it was show and tell. I don't care if you were doing a prank on somebody. I don't care what you were doing. I want y'all to put a comment down below and let me know if y'all would do that. And see, for me, people tie me into the same space as this guy. People tie me into the red pill space. The only problem is I'm not red pill. I didn't never have to wake up and understand nothing. I didn't ever have to say, well, I thought it was this, but no, it's this. I've never been red pill. I'm not red pill. You understand me? Now, when I first started my channel way back years ago, did I include the red pill? Yes, but only because that just seems like what the audience was. But for me, I'm not red pill because I don't hate women. I don't hate black women. Listen, I'm not saying I'm weak, but I'm too attracted to black women to hate them. You understand? Like, I've got a soft spot for black women. A beautiful black woman is, if I have a weakness in the world, it is for a beautiful black woman, bro. That's my weakness. So I'll say this. I don't want to be grouped in with guys who have this type of behavior. One thing you've never heard me do, you've never heard me speak hatred toward black women on this channel. You've never heard me say anything about black women as a group that wasn't statistically proven as something that they have to own up to. But I talk about us the same way. But what I haven't done is say that, you've never seen me interact like this with a woman. The women in my life, personally, I would never do it. Women that I don't know, for sure. So this is not something that you need to acclimate me to. This is not something that you need to, let's say, compare me to. That's not something that you need to adjoin me to. You don't need to do that.
Yeah, he doesn't even know who he's talking to. He's gonna put you on the internet. You don't have no job after me.
You ain't gonna.
I want y'all to understand something, man. I want y'all to understand and keep in mind that as men, we have to carry ourselves above the level of a woman when it comes to emotionality. This emotional outburst is something that no man should do, even behind closed doors. But the fact that this man does things like this on camera says a lot about his character as a man, says a lot about his level of masculinity. There's no way you can truly be a masculine man and interact with a woman like this. There's nothing a woman can do outside of harming me physically or trying to do something to my food or doing stealing from me or something. If a woman does not cross those few lines, there's nothing she can do to make me have this kind of vitriol toward her. You understand? Like, especially a woman that you don't know, a woman you're meeting for the first time, a woman who Ubered to the podcast. So, and all she gets in compensation is to get the money back for her Uber ride. Come on, bro. That's just not something that we should represent. And it's certainly not something that we should support, man. I mean, I think the guy is not being honest with himself about how his actions have affected not only his life, but his partner Fresh's life as well. Fresh is dealing with some fallout that he shouldn't be dealing with, but he's dealing with that because he got the gift and the curse of befriending and becoming business partners with Myron Gaines. If Fresh had figured out a way to do something else on his own, there's no one else who would do these things. They said what they wanted to say about Andrew Tate. He would never do these things like this. We've seen him on camera. You know what he did? He commanded the room. The women in the room weren't going to treat him this way. Why? Because he sat on there as a masculine man and dominated the room the way a masculine man should, right? When masculinity is in the room, a woman is going to do what she's going to do. You understand me? She's going to do what she's going to do. And we've seen that. You can say what you want to say about Kevin Samuels, but one thing you didn't see Kevin Samuels do is tear women down like this. The whole thing, average at best, was based on a woman saying herself that she would give herself a 5 out of 10. If a woman gives herself a 5 out of 10, you know a woman gonna give herself her best score. She gonna elevate her score above what it should be. So if a woman gives herself a 5, she's giving her best score. She's literally saying, I'm average at best. So when you look at it, not many other men behave like this, and the ones who do, you see that their rise is limited, their growth is limited, and they simply cannot rise to a certain point and maintain that elevation because of this type of situation. I hope Fresh finds a way to detach himself from this guy in a way where he can still hold on to some of the energy and motivation and motion that they've started with the Fresh and Fit podcast. But it's almost like he needs to separate himself from the brand or either figure out a way to buy Myron out. If I was Fresh, I would just buy Myron out of the brand. You know what I'm saying? I would compensate him because I know y'all have that in your bylaws or your articles of incorporation, whichever you did. I know that you should anyway, where one of you can buy the other out. Like Fresh should really be trying to buy this guy out, man, and try to take this thing in a different direction. It may never be as big as it was. And that's okay. But it's still a brand that you worked hard for years to build. And you cannot just sit back and let it falter and fall to the wayside because of Myron Gaines' inability to control himself, because of his inability to control his emotions, because of his inability to control his hatred for women. Now, I don't say this a lot, but what we just saw is the energy of a man who hated the woman he was talking to. And I'm going to be honest with you. That's just not something that we as men should be supportive of. But a bunch of you guys are young boys who have been led by older boys, like you in your 20s and you've been led by men and by boys in their 40s, or you and your team, you've been led by boys in their 30s, and you think because they're grown, they men, but nah, this is boyish behavior. I would never have to do this with a woman because I have sense enough not to be around a woman who would trigger this in me, and I just don't even know what could happen where a woman could trigger this in me. It's simply just remove the woman from your presence. This is uncalled for, and it's a bad look. And so Fresh, listen, bro, you need to figure out a way to detach yourself from this guy, man, because he's about to seriously crash and burn, man. Like he doesn't even know that the wings are off the plane. He's plummeting to the earth so fast that he can't even tell the wings are off the plane. He's too busy still trying to keep up the same ruckus. And if he can't, obviously he can't get himself together. So if I was Fresh, Walter Weeks, man, I would figure out a way to distract myself from the situation, but keep the brand. That's what I would do. Sometimes you got to grow beyond people. And the best sign that you got to grow beyond someone is if they're regressing while you're trying to progress. That's the first sign. You can't deal with somebody that's regressing while you're progressing. You can't do it.